What's up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingNews.com. Welcome back to another one of our previews. Well, this is going to be a good one here. The Kentucky Derby prep races are back, and they're returning to Fairgrounds. Let's go to Fairgrounds. Race 13 on the card. I'll put it up on the screen for you now. It's Lecomte Day at Fairgrounds. Should be a lot of fun here. Like I said, field of 11 lined up, going a mile and a 16th. And the Lecomte, obviously a Kentucky Derby prep event. $250,000. Pretty good purse down there at Fairgrounds as well. Let's go through them one by one. We've got 11 to talk about, give you a winner, hopefully, at the end, at least give you a pick and an attempt. Let's go to number one, Quality Mischief, to get this thing started. A horse by Into Mischief out of a Quality Road mare. Last time out, ran in the Gun Runner, which was kind of the first of the prep series back in December. Got fourth, beaten a link there, beaten by Chip Honcho and Crown the Buckeye. Both those horses back in this race. Also same distance today, tougher field today as well. So I don't think Quality Mischief bodes too well in this spot. It would be a pretty big upset in my mind if he gets the job done. The number 2, Carson Street, that'll be next here. 4 races, 1 win, 1 second, 2 thirds. The third on debut was on the turf at Kentucky Downs. So that's not relevant. I don't look at that. Went 1 mile at Churchill Downs. That was a 1-turn, 1 mile race there at Churchill. Got second, beaten 2 lengths in that one. Got beat by a horse named Incredible, who came back to win the Street Sense. So, a pretty good horse there. Came back next time out, went 2 turns, going a mile and 16th at Churchill Downs, got third, beating a length and a half behind Mosquite, a horse that is in this race. And then last time out, showed up at Fairgrounds, mile and 16th again, got the job done, winning by 11 1/4, and just totally blew that field out. The Beyer speed figures, if you're into that, have improved 72, 72 to a 79 in the last 3 starts. Obviously likes Fairgrounds, but going to have to turn the tables on Mosquite. That's a horse that did finish ahead of him 2 races back at this distance at Churchill Downs. But a lot can change between November 7th and January 17th when this race runs. And like I say, different track as well here at Fairgrounds. I think Carson Street's in with a big shot. I really like the last race. I know it took 4 races to get the maiden broke, but the first race, forget about it. The second race was a 1-turn event. This horse is by Street Sense out of a Harlan Holiday mare. I don't really think a 1-turn mile is what this horse wanted. So I kind of look at the last 2 races, going a mile and 16th, third to a pretty good horse, and then a win last time out. So I think he's in with a shot. Number 3, Crown the Buckeyes next, another runner out of the Gun Runner Stakes. This horse set the pace before getting third, beating 3/4 of a length. I thought he got tired in that race. This Ohio bred came in here and I thought ran maybe better than I expected. I didn't think the field was too tough, but I don't know. I didn't know that he could be able to hold on and almost win this thing. Looked tired at the end. Tougher race here, different pace scenario here as well. I think he's going to have pressure up front. I don't like him much in this spot today. The number 4 is Exosome, a horse that was 9th on debut, but then stretched out to 2 turns, going a mile 16th at Keeneland, and got the job done by a half length in the slop in that race. Horses by Candy Riot out of a Medaglia d'Oro mare, so another one that should, relish going 2 turns like he did when he stretched out. The speed figures are a little low, both races. The first one you don't really worry about. The second one just a 68 on the Beyer scale. Going to have to get a little bit faster, but probably in with a little bit of an upset chance. I'm not going to use this horse. I'm not going to lie to you, but I wouldn't be shocked if this horse improves again. It's just, I think the level of improvement is going to have to be a little bit more. That's kind of within the, the logical range for this race today. Let's go to the number 5, Golden Tempo next. This horse is by Curlin out of a Bernardini mare. So kind of seems like this horse needs to go a mile and a quarter right now when you just look at that. 78 Beyer on debut. It was a win, going 6 furlongs here at Fairgrounds. Really impressive. Won by a length and a half. I liked this quite a bit. I think this is a pretty nice horse. Sharita Vo trains, got 2 in this race. Jose Ortiz will ride here. Flavian Pratt is riding Cherie's other horse in here that we'll talk about in just a second. Horse I kind of like as well. Jose Ortiz is her go-to rider, though, so you might keep that in mind. I think Golden Tempo's got a pretty big future We'll see what happens. Got to stretch out today for the first time. We kind of talked about, yeah, that probably makes sense. Yeah, this looks like a horse that could be pretty good here with the 5 Golden Tempo. The 6 is Thunderbuck, horse by Gun Runner out of an Oxbow mare, so another distance horse. You can see all these horses really bred to go long. 7 furlong debut at Keeneland, got 4th, got beat by Dr. Kapoor and Chip Honcho, a couple of horses that are pretty good. Chip Honcho in this race, and obviously came back to win the Gun Runner last time out. Last time out, speaking of last time out, a maiden special weight here for Thunderbuck, and it was a length and 3/4 win, stretching out to 2 turns for the first time. So this Brad Cox runner really was solid on the stretch out, and I really think will continue to kind of progress. This is another really nice horse. No bones about it for me. I think this is a pretty nice one. I think he'll be tough in this spot. Yet another one that bred to go long, and when he went long, looked pretty good. So Thunderbuck, I hate to be a broken record, another one's in here with a big shot. I think in this race, if you haven't kind of told by now, I think you're going to have to go pretty deep in here. There's a lot of horses that have potential, and it's just going to be a matter of who kind of shows out on this day. Speaking of potential, the number 7 Mosquite is up next here. Stop me if you've heard this before. Debuted going short and got 6, and then stretched out to 2 turns and won. What do you know? This horse is by Union Rags, obviously Belmont winner. I have a Mine Shaft mare. So, yeah, that second race was at Keeneland, going a mile 16th, won by 3/4 of a length that day. Beat Carson Street. I mentioned that earlier. Carson Street came back to look very, very good. This is an interesting horse. This was my pick to win the Gun Runner. He scratched out of the Gun Runner Stakes and shows up in this spot here. I kind of looked at the workout pattern, 2 works since that scratch out the Gun Runner Stakes. They were both look pretty darn good to me. Like I said a little bit earlier, Sharitovo trains this horse. Flavian Pratt gets aboard. Flavian Pratt doesn't ride for Cherie hardly ever. Just 4 times that I could find in 2025 / the first part of 2026 here. So that'll be very interesting to see how that goes. Obviously it's never bad to get Flavian Pratt, but not exactly the go-to rider, but maybe a kind of a new connection can be formed there as Mosquite shows up with a pretty good shot. Here's going to be something very surprising. The number 8 White Tiger debuted going 1 turn and lost, got 2nd, beaten 7 1/4, then stretched out to 2 turns and won at Churchill Downs going a mile and 16th. This horse is by Constitution out of a Mission Impassable mare. So again, distance you would think would be good, and it has been for this horse. Irad Ortiz rode the horse both races and will ride the horse here in this one as well. So it's good to see Irad sticking with this horse and coming in with the horse. Basically, the horse is down in Florida, so is Irad. I don't think they'll be riding the same jet, but they definitely will be coming in together for this one. Look, I think this is a very nice horse. Got beat by Englishman on debut. I think that was a very good horse there, and then came back and looked solid. I like this one. I think White Tiger's got another one, a chance at least for a big future, and I think we'll see a pretty good effort from him in this spot on Saturday. All right, let's keep going. The number 9 is Ocelli. This is a horse that lost to Thunderbuck last time out, so this is still a maiden. 2 races, 1/3, 1 second. Got beat by Mob and Boss Dylan on debut at Churchill Downs, going 6.5 furlongs. Those are 2 pretty highly thought of horses. Now, Boss Dylan came back and did not win in a maiden special weight, but wasn't awful. Mob was going to run an allowance and scratch. I haven't heard where he's at next, but still, they were highly thought of, or at least decently thought of. Thunderbuck, like I said, we just talked about him. I kind of like him. I think he's got a decent future. This horse is by Connect out of a Scat Daddy mare. Improved going 2 turns last time out, and didn't win, so that trend finally breaks, but did improve. And so I think, look, for a maiden, this horse doesn't look all that bad. I'm not going to use them. You can't use them all, but this horse really doesn't look that bad to me as a maiden. I would probably think he's 3 to 5 or 4 to 5 if he's in a maiden special weight going 2 turns. Well, unless Brad Cox has got a big runner down there in one of those, which seems to happen quite a bit. But anyway, not a bad horse, just not for me today. The number 10 is Stop the Car. I'm very curious about this horse. Horses by Maximum Security out of a Tisnow mare. Debuted at Keeneland, going 6 furlongs and $150,000 maiden claimer. So it was a maiden claimer, but it's one of those races. There's still some decent horses in it. Got the job done by a length and 3/4. Went into an allowance optional claimer at Churchill Downs last time out, going a flat mile, and was very impressive. A 3 3/4 lengths victory. That was on the Stars of Tomorrow card, the Stars of Tomorrow 2 card, technically, there. So it was usually you've got good horses in those allowance races. And Stop the Car was very, very impressive. He doesn't really draw all that well today. He's going 2 turns for the first time. That was a 1-turn, 1 mile race there at Churchill. So, some question marks there. I don't love the post, but he's really showed, I guess he's exceeding the expectations. Anytime, even though it was a high claiming for a maiden claimer, anytime you debut for a tag, as a first-time starter 2-year-old, it kind of throws a red flag, but that really, can get bucked pretty quickly if you go out and run well and then beat winners again. So he looks solid to me. I'm probably gonna leave him off, but I don't feel just real comfortable about it because I do think he's a kind of an up and comer. He's kind of got the look of one that might run pretty well in this spot. And then finally, the number 11 is Chip Honcho. And we don't need to really introduce him much at all. He was the winner of the prep last time out, the Gunrunner Stakes, won by 3/4 of a length. 2 races back, broke the maiden at Churchill Downs, going a mile by a length and a quarter as well. So, yeah, look, I think the big thing with him, I didn't love the Gunrunner at all. I didn't think it was that good of a race. I thought they all were really kind of going pretty slow on the way home. So, then Chip Honcho draws a pretty tough post position here all the way out to the outside. So, I'm going to try to go against the gun runner as a whole in this race. And maybe I would judge it a little too harshly, and maybe kind of that experience. We read off a lot of these horses kind of just have maiden experience other than these horses that have exited the gun runner. So maybe that stakes experience will kind of help and prove me wrong in the end. But I didn't love the gun runner very well, so I'm not going to use Chip Honcho. I'm not going to use quality mischief, and I'm not going to use Crown the Buckeye. So could come back to bite me, but I am going to go against them in here. When you look at the Beyer speed figures, or in really any of the speed figures, that gun runner kind of matches up with some of these. Kind of match up with all of these, really. They're all very similar. They're all in the low 80s, high 70s. So doesn't really tell you much. Like, I don't look at things and go, well, this one got an 82 and this one got an 80. So got to go with the one that got an 82. No, not really. But I just think there's some upside with some of these other ones that I don't necessarily see with the gun runner horses. So, all right, that's it. That's the preview here. I'll go ahead and give you my top pick now. I'm going to go with the number 8 White Tiger in this spot. I was very interested in this horse on in the second race, I should say, after that debut race. I thought he ran really well. And the second race, look, I thought it was a pretty good effort, and I liked that it was 2 turns. I love that Irad's been aboard all 3 times. That tells me that they think there's something here with this horse. They think this horse is going to be pretty decent. So I'm going to go number 8 White Tiger on top. I think he shows up with a very good effort. I'm going to go as deep as possible. I do like Thunderbuck. I do like Golden Tempo. I like Mosquite. So kind of that 5, 6, 7, and 8 right there. That's probably where I'm looking as far as the multi-races go. Probably play around with the exactas and tries using those 4 horses. Not sure what order past the number 8 White Tiger, but that's probably what I'm looking to do there. We don't have the odds yet, so that's another thing as far as how you structure exactas and tries and multis. Don't hold me to all I'm saying, but that's kind of the horses I want to get the ball involved. 5 Golden Tempos, 6 Thunderbuck, 7 Mosquite, 8 White Tiger. All right, guys, that'll do this preview. Number 8 White Tiger on top for me to win this year's version of the Lecomte Stakes. Thanks everybody for joining us. Hit that like button if you like. Hit subscribe. You really like. Want to get alert anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, good luck if you're betting Fairgrounds on Saturday.